Hi, this is Vicky Schettini, and welcome here to Real Estate Investing. I have the amazing Peter Klein. Hello, welcome, Peter. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Vicky. I'm doing great.
Fantastic. So, I'm always about bringing substance to the show and what can offer value. So we're really, really picky on who we have on the show, and we came across Peter, and this was amazing. Tell us a little bit about you, Peter.
Thank you, Vicky. I've been in real estate full-time for about 20 years now, and I started out as a developer, as an investor. At some point, I became a general contractor because we're getting these properties and someone had to fix them. I run a distressed investment asset fund. And most recently, in addition to being a real estate agent, I run an auction platform called One Day REO Auctions, and that's where we spend about half of our time.
Oh, okay. And is that for REO, like from asset managers, like for closed houses?
So we're doing things that are what we call investor ready. Any property that has value to an investor where they can come and buy it, invest in it, and then either hold it or sell it for more money is our target item for the auction. That could be a bank REO property. That could be something from probate. It could just be a family that says, we've got a property, we can't keep it anymore, and it's better to let it go. But just like a lot of folks that we buy it, we sell it as is, where is. There are no inspections, and we become an alternative to hiring an agent or selling it to anybody else.
So if you say you become an alternative to hiring an agent, does the seller, who pays your fees? Because I'm assuming there's going to be fees to this.
No, I work for free. I make all my money. We're just like I know. We're just like a regular auction house. People don't realize it, but when you go to Christie's or Sotheby's and buy fine art, the buyer gets charged a premium. So on top of the purchase price they pay, if you go to a local auction buying anything from dishes to toys, you pay additional fee. Yeah. And real estate's no different. We charge a 5% buyer premium, just like the online websites. And that's very traditional with how auctions work.
And that's pretty good. I've seen some that are even higher. So I think that's a very, very good one.
We're trying to do volume. We'd much prefer to sell twice as many properties and take 5% than half as many properties and charge a higher amount. Our goal is to be a marketplace. And to be a marketplace like eBay, the less we charge, the more people will use us. And then we can grow in terms of our volume.
Perfect. Now, I'm trying to think and I won't name the other people, but certain auction companies that you are able to go and preview them ahead of time. Some of them you cannot. So you're kind of going in blindly. And, some of them, if you're not in the same state, so it's harder to, maybe get an inspector out there. With your platform, are we able to go and see the properties ahead of time?
We identified a problem in the marketplace, which is either there's not enough due diligence because there's one picture on a drive-by. There's a picture you see on the MLS, it's one picture outside, and good luck what's inside. Needs a lot of repairs, what it says in the remarks.
TLC, needs TLC.
Yeah. You'll also see folks that advertise occupy, do not disturb occupants. Our goal is to be much more transparent. We want every property in the auction to be viewable, either in a preview or in a video walkthrough. So part of the deal is we want to make sure we can get in. Even with tenants, we'll schedule a time for us to go through with our videographers and videotape the entire inside of the house. Normally, we want to do both, have a scheduled preview time as well as the video tour, so then you could sit at home and look at all the properties all at once. You could schedule to go and see it when you're there, or you could buy, like you said, remotely and bid as an absentee bidder without being anywhere near the auction when we have it.
And I like that too. That's one of the things that I've noticed even in my business. We have switched things around from going from pictures to videos because it makes such a huge difference on videos. I can take a picture of one wall and I can pick and choose what I want you to see on that wall versus a video. If you're going up and down, you get to see a lot more. So that that alone, it's a great tool for the investor to see. Now, on the videos, and I'm just asking for myself because
Sure.
obviously I'm very, very interested in this.
Yes.
Now I'm excited. When you're doing videos, are you opening like kitchen cabinets? Are you running water? Are we seeing all this?
So I just say I'm a real estate agent as well as running this auction platform. And we're taught apart, pardon me for my phone. It never stops, does it?
Never.
You know, part of my background as a salesman in real estate is as an agent, but more of my background is as an investor. And we really want to run our platform for the benefit of the investors. And that means not taking marketing pictures, but taking analytical pictures. When I walk through a house, I'm going through around the foundation looking for any cracks. I'm opening up electrical panels to show what the lines look like. We'll run water, like you said. Open up the cabinet, see what the piping looks like. We don't want any surprises. We want to make sure that as an investor, you know what you're getting. And it's my belief that you'll pay more if there's less risk. If I tell you that the lines have to be replaced, you go, okay. If you don't know, you're going to assume they do. So why not give you more information so in your pro formas, you can assume real costs versus assuming everything's broken. The idea of providing more transparency in our model is the buyer will pay more because they're taking less risk, so the seller will get paid more as well.
And I think it works better also on a comfort level. You know, I always tell people, invest where it makes sense. I'm originally from California, and you know, I really like rental properties. That's my preference in real estate. So in California, it's just for rental. For what I'm doing in Mississippi, it's a different model. And that's a great tool because I'm all about teaching people, look, go where the numbers make sense. And this gives you more of a confidence. You're actually seeing what you're getting yourself into. Now, and I might be asking too many questions now because now I'm excited, but
it sounds like a cross-examination on the stand, Your Honor, but I think I'm okay.
Okay. So when you're doing the inspections, who is doing the inspections? Do you have a contractor doing it? Do you do it? Do you have people trained to do it? Do you give a bid sheet? Or, you know, and always, I don't like bid sheets, to be honest with you. And the reason why is even here in Jackson, would I pay for a rehab and the investor next door? We are completely opposites. What we both pay, I give my contractors volume, they might not. So it's always hard when you give somebody a bid sheet, you know, what your contractors say, well, what kind of pricing do we get? Do we give volume pricing or whatnot? Do you just show what's there, or do you also provide a bid sheet?
It's a great question. And the other piece that I think we do as investors is, well, what level of finishes are you going to do? Are you putting in stainless steel or dings and dents? Are you doing laminate or hardwood floors? Are you going to put in hardy board planks, or are you going to put in cheap vinyl siding? Part of my challenge advising investors when they say, well, how much is it going to cost to rehab? I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you swing the hammer, or do you pay a contractor who's going to charge a profit? Do you want to do high end or low end? What we do instead, and it's a great question because we don't want to give any number. We give an estimate of repairs, but it's a range. And in that, we spend more time providing information on comparable homes. So we'll show you what the rehabbed homes in the area look like so you can see what everyone else is doing in terms of finishes. We want to show you market comps, not for as is, but fixed up. So a lot of our due diligence is about the marketplace so that as you're thinking about this property, you'll have an estimate in your own mind of what it needs to look like, and then back into that number. Too often I think investors assume, well, I'll cheap out and just try to flip it. It's a good way of getting caught. And how many properties do you see where they're halfway renovated because the guy went broke and lost it back to the lender?
Exactly. And I think that's a great point that you made too, is what kind of finishing. And one of the things I stress to people, when in doubt, you comp it out. What is your competition doing? So for me, I always like to go a little bit step above what my competition is doing, but I don't have to go the whole house step it up. I can do just little things that will make my property stand out a little bit. So it would be difficult depending on the area. Now, what areas are you doing this in?
So we launched our company about 8 months ago. We've run 2 successful auctions, with the third one coming up in September. It's a monthly here in northern New Jersey. If you come out of New York City and come out the Holland to Lincoln Tunnel, our marketplace is within a 45-minute commute from the exit to New York. And that covers a very large concentration of homes, even though geographically it's a pretty dense area. Our goal is to perfect the model here in New Jersey and then roll it out in other markets, because we see the same problems. You and I have shared that it's no different in Jackson or in Jackson Hole. The investment process is the same. How we do our analysis is the same. So we want to make sure that our solution works both here and in other markets.
Perfect. Now, one of the questions that I'm thinking of right now is, and it's an auction, right? You're bidding against somebody, correct?
Yes.
So what is your, what I don't like, some of these companies, they'll start it at $1,000, reserve not met. So I'm like, well, why even start it there? Where do you start it below and reserve not met, or do we start in hopes that it's going to get higher, or how do you guys do it?
It's a great question. And I think the bait and switch is what we call it.
Yes.
I'm not sure they call it down there as well.
Yeah.
The bait and switch doesn't serve anybody. And I think the real problem is you come in with a certain expectation, and if you go away disappointed, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, we started a price we think is fair. That may be below the reserve price, but what's happened to us is we'll have our reserve price, just pick a number out of the air, of $250, and we'll start the bidding at $225, and it won't go above $230. It allows us to call the seller and say, you know what, we had 30 people come and look. We had all these people do their due diligence. We had 3 bidders get to $230, and that's the highest it's going to go. Do you want to get a deal done or not? How often do properties not sell? Because the seller hasn't been realistic about what the real value is. So we do it below the reserve price, not so much below that it's offensive, but it's a marketing tool to make sure the house gets sold. It may be that we sell it after the auction by going back to the seller, but that's good market data. We're able to say we started below what your reserve price is because we let the seller set the reserve. Let's get a deal done.
And that, I think, and you're right, a lot of sellers are not realistically, they might just see the house down the street just sold for $300. Yeah, but it doesn't compare because the other one's been completely rehabbed. So I think that's a great tool because you're not doing it completely unrealistic what it is. And it does give people the option. And once the seller sees, look, we had all these people going, and that's the max you're going to get. You can get it down now and you have a cash offer. Talking about cash offer, is it all cash that you're buying, or how does it work?
I'm looking for my suitcase. I've got a big suitcase of cash I bring with me. We asked for a deposit of $5,000 at the sale to make sure that you're real. And you've got to put 15% up within 48 hours. So that's typical of a non-wheeler dealer deal. I think if you don't have 15% to close, I don't want to speak ill of anybody, but we find a lot of guys will tie properties up and they can't close. So we want to make sure from a seller perspective that they know we've vetted good buyers that can actually close the transaction. People can use financing, but it's not subject to. So they've got to do their due diligence about the property value before the auction, and they've got to have their financing lined up. But as long as they close within 21 to 30 days of the sale, we're okay. It can be with hard money loans. We've actually talked to some lenders about financing 203K loans, but it's the buyer that's taking the risk because they tied the property up. Someone else did not win the sale, the auction, because this person outbid them. We want to make sure that person's really going to close.
And I think it will save time on people trying to buy it for wholesaling, because once you have to put the 15% down, then that's going to take out a lot of wholesalers out of the picture, and then the actual buyers will have direct access and eliminate cost in essence.
We're trying to make sure that it's a fair transaction. And if a wholesaler is 3 steps removed from the seller, that's 3 additional layers of somebody else making profit. If we do work with wholesalers can use our platform to wholesale properties. It's my opinion that the real value of a wholesaler is interacting directly with the seller and tying up the property. Not going to the MLS, not going from another wholesaler, but being in direct contact. We then can provide the network of buyers. So you as a wholesaler, go get that contract signed and we'll help you assign it to the highest amount.
Got it. So you just made up a good question. You mentioned the MLS. So I mean, giving us a buyer 21 days to close, that's plenty of time that they can go and get even a hard money loan, get it done. Do they have, how much in advance would, let's say you have the properties on the website. So if I'm interested in one, I see the videos, I see everything, I can get the information, talk to my lender, get our initial work done. And then we know, like, this is how I would do it, is I would say, okay, what's the max you're going to give me on this? And I'll know how much the max I can go. So if we can go to the max, the lender will be able to get it done in 21 days.
I'm going to take some notes here. This is a great idea you're coming up with.
See, you like that? That's
actually,
what I'm thinking. The wheels are always turning in my head.
We've actually done one better, and that is, financing is a very important part of our business. I think too often people as new investors don't realize while you're searching for an investment, you should be searching for funding. Our platform is sponsored locally by the leading hard money lenders. We have 4 or 5 of them show up at all of our events. We work with them to promote to their clients so they're coming knowledgeable. We provide them advanced information about the home so they know what's being auctioned. At our last event, we actually had one of the lenders co-present with us. So they sat up there, and as we presented the property, they went through their thinking about how they would finance it and how much they would advance on the property.
Wow. And
so what's happening in our marketplace here is lenders are becoming advisors before the purchase by providing numbers. If the house has this criteria and this is the market comps on a resale with an ARV, they're telling you how much they'll advance to a new lender or to someone who's experienced. And they give you those numbers right up front. We want to make sure that—
Oh my God, that is beautiful. I almost said a bad word because I got excited.
We can bleep that out, but you should take that note now, right?
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I think the problem in the business in certain places is we think there should be a battle between the buyer and the seller. Whoever gets the better deal wins. We think there should be a battle between the borrower and the lender. Whoever gets a better deal wins. Versus the goal is to rehab a house, to either rent it or to sell it. And everyone plays a role in that. The original seller needs to make a healthy number so they feel comfortable releasing their property. The bank needs to make a return on their loan because they're taking risk. And the investor who's doing all of the coordination too needs to make a profit. Yeah, if we can make it right, if we can make it a fair transaction for all of the participants, don't make it all in one deal, make it on all of the deals that you do. And I always talk to new investors, you should be thinking not about a deal, but deals in the multiples. And that means you need to have a good working relationship with your lender. That means you need to have a good set of realtors who are going to help you value the property, a good group of contractors who are going to be there to give you fair pricing. It's not just swing for the fences and hope you hit a home run. I always say I much prefer to hit 2 stand-up doubles, using the baseball analogy, where each deal makes me money. Look, every so often we're going to hit a stinker, right? Every so often there's a deal that doesn't go our way. I think you should make up for it incrementally, not all at once. And that's the idea of doing deal after deal versus one deal to make up for all the other losses.
And I'm so glad you said that. I mean, especially a lot of new people when they get in, they see on, online, on TV, all these big checks, and don't plan on making your whole year's worth in one deal. You want to be consistent and keep getting more business coming in. So that's key. I mean, I think it's great. One more quick question that I have.
Sure.
As you talk, then my brain is just, you get me more excited and you're not even in Jackson, but maybe I'll go there. MLS. So so they're off-market deals. You don't put them on MLS, correct?
We do put them on the MLS. And
you put them on MLS.
As an auction company, we advertise ours, or we work with agents who have the listing and we actually co-market with an agent to support them in selling their property. The easiest call to make is to a real estate agent, say, look, I see your property, it needs work. You've got 1 or 2 pictures of the inside of the house. It's been on the market for 90 days. Can we help you? And when I offer help, it's let us help you explain to the seller how to reach the best market price. Let us help you market it with additional video footage, with additional research. Let us not change anything about your listing agreement. It's the exact same agreement as an agent that you have with your seller currently. We have a 1-page addendum. That addendum sets a reserve price, and that's all we need. A seller to agree that if we can auction it for a certain price, they agree to sell it. From there, we do all of our work. We're out there in the market doing comp analysis. We're out there at the house or property doing research. And then that listed property is better positioned to then be auctioned. We think the MLS is a great marketing tool. It's a great way of reaching a large base. But too often, it doesn't provide you enough information as an investor to know enough about the investment. So how can we use that as one piece of an overall analytical process? That's where our website supplements the MLS with more research. The due diligence that you and I would expect if we were going to buy the property. We want to provide that to the bidders so the bidders can become a buyer.
Exactly. And I think that's crucial. Also, if the property hasn't sold in 90 days, then I think it's going to even be better for the seller, because maybe it was an unrealistic seller, and getting them down to reality, to a more comfortable price that the property can sell. And what we talked about earlier, let's say if you didn't get a bid up to that price, now the seller already knows, well, look, I had 90 days, it didn't sell. This seems to be the number. So I like that. I really do like that, because if not, the property would sit there for however long, you know?
We have an example here, a property. It was 2 sisters. Their parents unfortunately passed away, and they inherited the property. And they listed the property at the market value if it had been rehabbed. So they had it at a $420,000 sale price, and it needed a new kitchen. It needed updated baths. It had paneling that was from the 70s. And so, yeah, it's worth $420 if they invested $50,000 in it. So then they lowered it, and it was down in the 370s or $389 to start, and they lowered it again. We actually put it on the auction at $299 because the sale price is much closer to $320, $325 than the $420 number they had. And investors got to invest in the property and they make a little bit of a profit. So they didn't know all that. We worked with the agent in helping the agent explain to her client what they needed as sellers to know about the market, because she was just one agent. And, she's just trying to, dump the property quickly. We helped the agent educate her client as to what the true market value was of the house.
And that's key. That's really, really important. I am really, really excited. I mean, do you have any, you want to tell us a little bit of what's the next city you're going in?
I still do believe that real estate is local, but you need local knowledge, which you can get nowadays online or otherwise, and also through networking. So we're here in North Jersey. Our lender base covers an area of about a 100-mile radius. So we're looking at the Philadelphia market next. We're looking beyond that to Baltimore. We want to have enough volume so we can actually make a difference. So we would look at bigger cities. We've talked to folks in Atlanta and in Houston. So where there's a need for transparency in the process is where we want to go. And we want to find the right sales partners. So if there's someone in a market that says, you know what, I'd love to help, I'd welcome the conversation. We'd welcome to talk to them and see if we can't partner with them to launch in that city with them as our partner. Beautiful.
And how would somebody be able to get a hold of you?
So our website is onedayreo.com. If you go info@onedayreo.com, it's coming straight to me and to our team. You can call me at 856-846-6630. But I also assume that I'll send this all to you, and you can put it in the bottom of the podcast if someone wants more information. If you Google One Day REO, we're on the first page of Google, which I always tell people is important.
I love that name too, by the way.
But we're here to grow our business and help investors, which sounds a lot like what you're up to as well.
I definitely am. And I think this is going to be very, very crucial for everybody. It's a great way. I mean, you guys even have the lenders. How much easier can you guys make it for investors that way? Well, it was a pleasure. It was great speaking with you. I am really, really excited over this. I'm going to go and look at all this up, and maybe you might see me on the next auction.
Be great to see you in person, Vicky.
Next auction?
Our next auction is September 18th here in North Jersey.
Okay, got it. And this is online too, you said, right?
You can be an absentee bidder so that we need to pre-qualify folks so we can take a bid, and it's simulcast, so it's both online and live.
Okay. I forgot to ask you that because I got excited as you kept talking, and I kept thinking of more questions. I'm like, wow. Okay, well, beautiful. I know I've taken enough of your time. Thank you so much. This is wonderful. I love when people come up with great companies like such as this, because it does help everybody out. And those of you that are out-of-state investors, what a great tool that you're providing them. The videos, you're providing everything that they need. So it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you.
And see me at the next auction.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.